The questioning storm finally calmed down. Li Daoyuan and the others also let out a sigh of relief. They took out their spare equipment and finished testing the last 2 crystal balls. Soon, the results of the 30 people who had been nominated were out. 8 Alien Realm Soul participants were eliminated in the second round of the competition. Among the 30 people, besides the 25 Alien Realm Soul, there were also 5 true Monarch Stage Soul participants. As expected, Fu Zan and Bai Qian were both eliminated in the test. Xiao Yan, I'm counting on you. Fu Zan and Bai Qian walked to Xiao Yan's side and said with a bitter smile. Both of them were geniuses of Spirit Sky City, but when they came here, they found out that their so-called title of genius was really annoying. Xiao Yan nodded his head. Looking at their desolate expressions, he couldn't help but smile. What's there to be discouraged about? With your performance, you wouldn't be able to let Spirit Sky City get the last place. This can be considered a huge improvement. When the 2 of them heard this, they smiled awkwardly. Bai Qian took a deep look at Xiao Yan and took a deep look at him. She opened her mouth but didn't say anything. She and Fu Zan turned around and walked out of the arena. Now I will announce the names of the 30 people. Those who did not read it will automatically leave the arena. Li Daoyuan looked at the big screen and said in a loud voice. Everyone's attention was immediately attracted to him. These 30 people were undoubtedly the elites among the elites. This match was definitely more exciting than the previous one. Xiao Yan, Li Zan, Xiao Yu, Zhou Gushan, Lu Ying. Every time Li Daoyuan said a name, a wave of sparse cheers could be heard from the stands. Most of them were the size of those who had been eliminated. Fu Qing, Guan Qi Ying. These 30 people are the contestants who will be participating in the third round. After finishing the list of 30 people, Li Daoyuan looked at Xiao Yan and the others and said, "You guys rest for an hour first, and then the third round will begin." HMPH. What rest do you want? Li Zan snorted coldly, but he didn't dare to openly oppose Xiao Yan. He looked at Xiao Yan with a cold gaze. Subconsciously, this guy had already given him more threats than Xiao Yu. With a sneer, Li Zan walked to the place where the mercenary core of Spiritual Sky City was located. He had been recuperating for the past half an hour. At that time, he would let those guys know what it meant to be powerless. After the others had dispersed, Li Daoyuan called Xiao Yan and Xiao Yu over and sighed. Li Daoyuan looked at Xiao Yan and said with a smile, "You have done a good job." Although this round's ranking doesn't represent much, it's still very satisfying to be able to kill Li Zan. After that, he looked at Xiao Yu and said in a serious tone, "Xiao Yu, don't take this matter to heart. Xiao Yan has broken through to the fighting monarch of Lower Realm, and the 3 steps soul transfer realm is also very mysterious. It's understandable that he has such achievements. What you all need to do now is to think about what you should do in the third round of concocting pills." Xiao Yu smiled when he heard this. "Teacher, you are worrying too much. I did not take this matter to heart. What I am thinking now is about the third round of the competition." Xiao Yu turned to look at Xiao Yan and smiled. "But Brother Xiao Yan's strength really shocked me. He can actually make that device explode. I really admire him from the bottom of my heart." Although it was somewhat regretful, it was still very satisfying to see those people from the mercenary corps wilting. After listening to Xiao Yu's words that came from the bottom of his heart, Xiao Yan smiled non-committally. Before this, he had never thought that the ultimate saint expert's chi would cause the device to explode. Li Daoyuan also smiled. After a moment of silence, he said in a low voice, "The main opponent of the 2 of you is Li Zan. The rest of you shouldn't be a threat to you. Remember, once you finish concocting the medicine pill and hand it over to the staff, immediately enter the main hall behind me. Don't delay any longer." Hearing Li Daoyuan's low and deep voice, Xiao Yan and Li Daoyuan were startled. Just as they were about to ask, Li Daoyuan smiled bitterly and said, "Your batch of participants this time is too outstanding. As for the 2 of you, and that Li Zan, they are the best of the best. So, I'm afraid that something special will happen at that time." "What?" Xiao Yan frowned. He suddenly remembered Bai Qian telling him to be careful of the abnormal situation after the pill concoction was completed. "All right, you guys go and rest. Reach your mind and prepare for the third round of the competition. Don't think about anything else. Even if something happens, we will take care of it." Li Daoyuan chuckled. He waved his sleeve and turned around to leave, leaving Xiao Yan and Li Daoyuan staring at each other without knowing what was going on. Do you think that kind of thing will happen? When Li Daoyuan returned to the judge's seat, Hua Yan suddenly spoke. Li Daoyuan's eyes narrowed. He shook his head and said in a deep voice, "I don't know. But it was also possible that you saw it too. That old bastard Li Xianfeng even sent 2 monarch cultivation warriors to Li Zan, although they might be guarding against us. No one would believe him if he said that." Hua Yan squinted his eyes and looked at the mercenary corps in spiritual Sky City. He nodded and said, "That's right. The strength of those 2 men isn't any weaker than us. However, we have also made thorough preparations, Sect Master Xiao and Old Man Zhou. There are also dozens of elders who should be able to ensure the safety of all the contestants." Not just that. Li Daoyuan heard this and said with a smile, "If that kind of thing really happened, do you think the Spirit Heaven Mansion Master will just stand by and watch?" Furthermore, when that incident happened, Teacher was on the verge of breaking through and did not make a move. Now, Teacher is probably keeping an eye on this place as well. With the 2 of them here, what's there to be afraid of? Hua Yan nodded and looked around. The only thing we are worried about right now is the safety of the audience. The scale of nearly 10,000 people. If we are not careful, we might lose a lot of people. Li Daoyuan looked at the dense crowd on the viewing platform in the distance and let out a helpless sigh. "Young master, after the 3rd round of the competition ends, come to our side immediately. Don't run around." The middle-aged man who was fighting with Li Daoyuan looked at the young man in front of him and said in a deep voice. Seeing that the young man didn't listen to him, the middle-aged man smiled bitterly and said in a serious tone, "This is the order of the alliance leader. If you don't listen, don't blame me for interrupting you." Li Zan glared at the middle-aged man and nodded helplessly. Another middle-aged man beside Li Zan smiled when he saw this. "Young master, don't be angry. Ho Dao and I are doing this for your sake. Besides, the chief has told us that if you lose a hair, he will punish us for it." Li Zan smiled complacently when he heard this. Then, he furrowed his brows. "It's just a pill competition of this level. Why would grandfather send someone as strong as you to protect me? Could it be that I have become the champion of the pill competition, and those old fools, Li Daoyuan, will hunt me down?" The 2 middle-aged men looked at each other. Ho Dao sneered. "How is that possible? If they dare to do that, they will force the Mercenary Alliance to start a war with the Alchemist Association." As for the exact reason, the Alliance chief didn't say anything. "He only asked us to protect you." Upon hearing this, Li Zan snorted and didn't speak anymore. When he thought of the upcoming 3rd round of the competition, the corner of his mouth couldn't help but reveal a ferocious smile. An hour quietly passed while everyone was anxiously waiting. Along with a clear ringing of the bell, the silhouettes of 30 participants appeared in the center of the venue. The original crystal platform had already been removed from the venue, and was replaced by 30 pill refining platforms forged from black stones. Each platform had a huge medicine cauldron on it. When all the participants had found their positions, Li Daoyuan's voice rang in everyone's ears. "The 3rd round of the pill competition begins now." Following the command, the 30 participants stared intently at the medicine cauldron in front of them. With a wave of their hands, all kinds of medicinal ingredients appeared on the black stone platform. The movements that had been rehearsed countless times in their minds were displayed in a smooth manner. "It's starting." Li Daoyuan sat on a chair and focused on the 30 people in the center of the stage. Hua Yan, Xiao Wang and the rest also put away their relaxed expressions and looked at the stage seriously. The tens of thousands of spectators on the stage also looked at the center of the stage in unison. Although most of them did not know alchemy, watching an alchemist was as smooth as flowing water. Normal control was a visual enjoyment. Swoosh! 2 kinds of monarch flames that had fused together instantly appeared on Xiao Yan's left hand. He looked at the herbs on the stone platform. Xiao Yan took a deep breath and raised his right hand. A medicinal ingredient slowly rose. Under the control of Xiao Yan's powerful spiritual strength, it flew straight into the medicine cauldron. At the same time, Xiao Yan gently waved his left hand. The monarch flame whistled as it rushed towards the medicine cauldron. It transformed into a fire dragon that spiraled around the medicine cauldron. When this medicinal herb entered the medicine cauldron, a wisp of flame had already entered through the fire piston of the medicine cauldron. Under Xiao Yan's skillful control of the flame emitted an appropriate temperature. In an instant, the medicinal herb was burned into ashes, and the essence within was completely extracted. Then, the flame turned into a flaming ball, and wrapped around the drop of essence. It entered the bottom part of the medicine cauldron. In the blink of an eye, he had extracted a medicinal herb. Xiao Yan's expression did not change. With a wave of his hand, another medicinal herb swiftly entered the medicine cauldron and began the same process as before. As a middle period of alien stage soul, Li Zan is definitely able to refine a Tier 4 and 7-star medicine pill. However, in order to deal a blow to Xiao Yu and I, he will probably use all his strength to refine a 5th-rank medicine pill. Since that is the case, I can only use all my strength to refine a 5th-rank medicine pill. While extracting the herbs, Xiao Yan's mind was spinning rapidly. 2 days before the competition, Li Daoyuan had helped them by favoring others for their own benefits. Where was it? Xiao Yan had used the prestige power spell to temper his soul strength, completely solidifying his early alien realm soul and achieving a stable state. Previously, after Xiao Yan had advanced to the 2nd Dao Monarch Spirit, he could attempt to refine a Tier 4 6-star medicine pill with all his strength. After stabilizing his soul, he could already refine a Tier 4 7-star medicine pill. An alien realm soul could refine a Tier 4 to 7-star medicine pill. Generally speaking, an early alien realm could refine a Tier 4, middle tier could refine a Tier 5, and late tier could refine a Tier 6 medicine pill. Although Xiao Yan's current soul strength had yet to reach the peak of the alien realm soul, he could rely on his stronger soul and monarch flame to refine a Tier 4, 7-star medicine pill without any pressure. Ordinary Li Zans are still unable to defeat Li Zan. Since that's the case, I'll try my best to refine a Tier 5, 2-star medicine pill. Having made up his mind, Xiao Yan took a deep breath and did not waste any more time. With a wave of his right hand, dozens of medicinal ingredients rose into the air. They were all poured into the medicine cauldron. At the same time, dozens of wisps of flame also appeared in a flash. They wrapped around the medicinal ingredients and burned them. Before registering, Xiao Yan had already planned to refine 5th-rank medicine pills. Some of the necessary medicinal herbs were also gathered in 3 complete sets in these few days, and he had prepared a complete plan. Not far away, Xiao Yu also had a solemn expression. His eyes flickered and he had already made up his mind. He took out 3 sets of medicinal ingredients to refine a Tier 5-2 medicine pill. He took a deep breath and expelled all distracting thoughts from his mind. His mental state gradually became ethereal. After finding his best condition, Xiao Yu waved his hand and dozens of medicinal ingredients entered the medicine cauldron in front of him. In another place, Li Zan was completely focused on extracting the medicinal liquid. The control of the blue flame in his hand was miraculous. One medicinal ingredient after another was swiftly refined. Following Li Zan's powerful control of his soul force, different medicinal ingredients were burned by different flames. Drops of medicinal essence were extracted and placed at the bottom of the medicine cauldron. While the 3 of them were concocting with all of their strength, Zhou Gushan, Lu Ying, and Fu Qing, who had high hopes for the pill competition, also had solemn expressions on their faces. They were trying their best to prevent any disturbances from the outside world, using their best condition to deal with the pill competition. If I'm not wrong, in order to become the champion of this year's competition, I will need at least a 2-star medicine pill of the 5th grade. Li Daoyuan stared at the 30 participants and said in a low voice. At least a grade 5 2-star medicine pill. It is possible, Hua Yan replied softly. The previous champion merely refined a Tier 4 5-star medicine pill. It's likely that this year, there are more than 8 Tier 4 5-star medicine pills and above refined. Li Daoyuan nodded in agreement. Immediately, he said in a deep voice, however, with Li Zan's character, with his middle period of alien stage soul. When the time comes, I'm sure he will be able to concoct a 5th grade 2-star pill. The quality of the medicine pill would determine the victor, which was equivalent to experience in alchemy. Among these few people, Xiao Yan's experience in alchemy should be the richest. Although he was unwilling, I think the final battle will be between Xiao Yan and Li Zan. Hearing Li Daoyuan's helpless words, Hua Yan let out a heavy sigh. Li Zan's appearance had raised the level of the competition by a lot. Even Zhou Gushan, who originally had the hope of winning the 2nd place, did not have the ability to interfere in the top 3. Boom! Just as Xiao Yan was fully focused, he suddenly heard a soft explosion. From the corner of his eye, he could see that one of the participants was already feeling vexed over the fact that he had already expelled the dregs from the medicine cauldron. He pulled another medicinal herb into the medicine cauldron, which was affected by the sound. The alchemist beside him was careless. The flame that was extracting the essence of the medicinal herb trembled slightly. Nearly 20 medicinal ingredients had already turned into waste. Xiao Yan withdrew his gaze and looked at the medicine cauldron in front of him. More than half of the 100+ medicinal ingredients needed to refine the medicine pill had already been used up. Dozens of medicinal ingredients' essence were quietly lying at the bottom of the medicine cauldron. Up until now, everything had been considered to be stable. Rich alchemy experience had played a huge role at this time. Xiao Yan easily avoided some unnecessary mistakes during the process of extracting the medicinal herbs' essences. In the end, he used 0 mistakes to refine all the over 100 medicinal herbs. Not a single medicinal herb was wasted. Next was the merging of the medicinal essences. Xiao Yan closed his eyes and rested for a while. After which, his soul force surged out from between his brows without any reservation, completely wrapping around the medicine cauldron. In Xiao Yan's mind, the several hundred medicinal essences at the bottom of the medicine cauldron were like lamps in the dark night, extremely eye-catching. As his soul energy condensed, a powerful force spread out. More than 100 medicinal liquids that were wrapped in flames at the bottom of the medicine cauldron immediately rose. The flames gradually dispersed. In the next moment, under the control of his soul energy, these medicinal essences surged towards a certain place. Xiao Yan was very careful at this moment. He had reached the most critical step. If the fusion was successful, the embryonic form of the medicine pill would appear. If there was a mistake, all his previous efforts would be in vain. Under the control of Xiao Yan's enormous soul force, these medicinal liquids were smoothly condensed together. With the experience of using his soul force to control the Buddha Fury Fire Lotus, Xiao Yan's step was exceptionally smooth. It's almost a success. Xiao Yan took a deep breath. With a slight movement of his hand, the Origin Monarch Qi in his body began circulating rapidly, preparing to pour the Origin Monarch Qi into the embryonic pill. Boom! Suddenly, the sound of medicine cauldrons vibrating could be heard. The low and deep sound caused the flames of some alchemists who were trying to extract the medicinal liquid to tremble. Then, they turned into ashes and were expelled. The alchemists looked at the source of the sound with unsightly expressions, but they didn't dare delay. They hurriedly used the ingredients they had prepared to extract the medicinal liquid. Who? Xiao Yan looked at the young man beside him with an expressionless face. The young man's forehead was covered with sweat. He had finally managed to extract half of the medicinal ingredients. He hadn't expected that the flame would suddenly become unstable, causing all the medicinal ingredients he had extracted to become useless. He watched as the embryonic pill that was about to turn into trash was automatically expelled by the medicine cauldron. Xiao Yan pursed his lips and didn't say anything. Just as he was about to succeed, the booming sound of the medicine cauldron beside him caused Xiao Yan's mind to move. All of his efforts were instantly turned into ashes. Sighing, Xiao Yan closed his eyes and stopped to rest. After a long time, under Li Daoyuan's surprised gaze, Xiao Yan's eyes were still closed. With a wave of his hands, nearly 30 medicinal herbs flew into the sky and entered the medicine cauldron. With his first experience, the extraction of medicinal herbs this time was obviously much faster. In just half the time before, he had already finished purifying over 100 medicinal herbs. Out of the corner of his eye, he glanced at the hourglass in the middle of the motions. More than half of the time had already passed. Everyone's pill refinement had entered the most critical moment. Xiao Yan's gaze fell on the medicine cauldron in front of him, and his soul force surged out from between his eyebrows. It instantly wrapped around the medicine cauldron, and his heart moved as he wished. More than 100 medicinal liquids wrapped in flames rose from the bottom of the medicine cauldron. Under Xiao Yan's precise control, the medicinal liquids kept rushing towards the same place. A moment later, the embryonic form of a medicine pill slowly formed within the medicine cauldron. Under Xiao Yan's skillful control, over 100 different types of medicinal liquids had completely fused together. He did not miss out even the slightest bit. With the experience of controlling monarch flames, he was able to fuse the medicinal liquid with greater ease. Very quickly, the embryonic pill that was formed began to appear in Xiao Yan's perception. The surface of the pill was smooth and transparent, unlike the embryonic pills that others had refined. The surface of the pill was filled with uneven potholes. Refining a 5th grade 2-star medicine pill not only required a stronger soul force to control the fusion of several hundred medicinal liquids, but also a stronger soul force. Although Xiao Yan's current soul energy was only at the early alien realm soul, in addition to the power of the monarch flame. Next, he poured the origin monarch qi into his body, allowing this embryonic pill to truly have its effects. At this moment, Xiao Yan's eyebrows twitched. He stabilized the embryonic pill in the cauldron and looked up. Li Zan, who was standing in the distance, had already reached the final step. Both of his hands were placed at the air infusion mouth. A huge origin monarch qi continuously rushed into the medicine cauldron. A pill fragrance gradually spread out from within the cauldron. This feeling, a Tier 5 3-star medicine pill. Sensing this pill fragrance, Xiao Yan's expression couldn't help but change. He looked at the medicine cauldron in front of him, and his eyes sparkled. Xiao Yu, who was in the midst of breathing in, also sensed the quality of the medicine pill that Li Zan had refined. His expression also changed slightly. He had already expended so much effort just to refine a Tier 5 or 2-star medicine pill. However, if he wanted to defeat this fellow, a Tier 5 or 2-star was clearly not enough. Xiao Yu clenched his teeth when he thought of this. His eyes looked at the medicine cauldron in front of him and the fighting spirit in his eyes burned wildly. Kai! Xiao Yu suddenly bit the tip of his tongue. A drop of blood essence immediately flew out from the tip of his tongue into the rotating embryonic medicine pill. Receiving Xiao Yu's blood essence pouring in, a few blood-colored stripes instantly appeared on the medicine pill. The pill fragrance that was much richer than the 5th grade 2-star medicine pill instantly spread out. As the blood essence left his body, Xiao Yu's face became incomparably pale, and he felt a sense of weakness in his body. The scenery in front of him also became extremely blurry. Xiao Yu shook his head, and forcefully suppressed the discomfort in his body. He clenched his teeth, and placed both of his hands in the mouth of the medicine cauldron. He instinctively poured the origin monarch qi into the embryonic pill. Taking a deep breath, Xiao Yan immediately made up his mind. Fortunately, he had also saved a hand. The medicine pill that he had originally refined was called the Profound Spirit Pill. It was a grade 5 2-star medicine pill, a medicine pill that could reach the next level. It was called the Profound Spirit Pill, and its grade was 3 stars of the 5th grade. The refining method was similar to the medicinal ingredients used to refine the Profound Spirit Pill. The only difference was that it required more supplementary medicinal ingredients and even more majestic origin monarch qis. Under Li Zan's coercion, Xiao Yan could only plan on refining the 3-line Profound Spirit Pill. A 5th grade 3-star medicine pill had already exceeded the scope of Xiao Yan's ability. Regardless of whether it was soul force or origin monarch qi, it was clearly insufficient to refine. The only guarantee was, it was Xiao Yan's outstanding alchemy experience and his soul that possessed an extremely high endurance. Thinking of this, Xiao Yan couldn't help but look at Xiao Yu. When he saw the latter injecting his blood essence into the embryonic pill, he smiled in his heart. It seemed like this fellow was going to fight with his life on the line. After dividing half of his spiritual strength, he controlled the already refined Profound Spirit Pill. Xiao Yan waved his hand, and nearly 100 medicinal ingredients appeared on the black platform. There was not much time left, and Xiao Yan did not dare to delay any longer. After dozens of medicinal ingredients entered the medicine cauldron, the monarch flame instantly surrounded it, and quickly extracted the essence within. 5th grade 3-star. I still somewhat underestimated Li Zan. However, looking at how much effort he put in, his middle period of alien stage soul was only ordinary. Otherwise, with his character, he would be able to refine a 5th grade 4-star soul. Li Daoyuan stroked his beard and said in a deep voice while staring at Li Zan. Xiao Yu is also putting his life on the line to forcefully raise the grade of the medicine pill. This is also a method that can't be helped. It is a little strenuous for him to refine a Tier 5 2-star medicine pill. However, I am really worried that he will not be able to endure any longer. The medicine pills required for a grade 5 3-star medicine pill are already extremely huge. With his current condition, I'm afraid. Hua Yan looked at Xiao Yu's pale face and said in a low voice. This is good as well. All men of the Xiao clan are courageous. Even if we can't defeat our opponent, we must show our tenacious fighting spirit. Xiao Wang, who was standing aside, looked at Xiao Yu's desperate look and snorted. Li Zan has refined 3 stars of the 5th grade. Xiao Yu has relied on his blood essence. I estimate that he can barely reach a grade 5 3-star. Xiao Yan should have also noticed the grade of the medicinal pill that Li Zan refined. I don't know what his method is. Li Daoyuan shook his head and said in a heavy voice. Up until now, the competition had begun. It had nothing to do with Xiao Yan. Xiao Yu and Li Zan started the match. Xiao Yan was multitasking. While maintaining the stability of the embryonic form of the profound spirit pill, he was controlling the flame to quickly extract the essence of the medicinal ingredients. Soon, hundreds of medicinal ingredients had been refined. Next, Xiao Yan let out a soft breath. His spiritual strength suddenly increased. He extracted the essence of these medicinal ingredients and swiftly merged them together. Li Zan looked at the medicine pill that was about to be refined in the cauldron, and his wild joy gradually calmed down. He had naturally noticed Xiao Yu's movements just now. The medicine pill that was originally only a 5th grade and 2-star medicine pill suddenly had energy fluctuations that were comparable to a 3-star medicine pill. Li Zan was clearly aware in his heart that the medicine pill he refined was merely a low-quality one among the grade 5 3-star medicine pills. If Xiao Yu refined a 5th grade 3-star medicine pill at the same time, the quality only needed to be 1 level higher than him. Then he would lose completely. How is this possible? Li Zan sneered as he thought of this. He made up his mind and bit the tip of his tongue. A drop of golden blood essence flew out from the tip of his tongue and entered the medicine pill that was spinning in the medicine cauldron. As soon as the blood essence left his body, Li Zan instantly felt weak in his body. It was as if all the strength in his body had been sucked away. His legs trembled and he almost fell to the ground. Hoo! Taking a deep breath, Li Zan barely managed to stand up. He felt the intense aura that suddenly erupted from the medicine pill inside the medicine cauldron and was immediately overjoyed. The quality of this medicine pill had already reached the peak of the 5th grade, 3 stars. If he wanted to defeat Li Zan, he could only refine it. 4th star of the 5th grade, a 5th grade 4-star medicine pill. Unless he has reached the stable state of middle period of alien stages soul, even if Xiao Yu spits out all of his blood essence, he would absolutely not be able to refine it. That Xiao Yan, I think it would be pretty good if he could refine an ordinary 3-star medicine pill. The champion is mine. Li Zan licked his lips, and the corner of his mouth revealed a trace of a ferocious smile. He forcefully endured the feeling of weakness in his body, and crazily poured the remaining Origin Monarch cheese into the medicine cauldron. When Li Zan's medicine pill erupted with an even more powerful aura, Xiao Yan frowned. The peak of the 5th grade, 3 stars, was really difficult to deal with this time. As he thought about it, Xiao Yan had already found the balance between the 2 embryonic Xiao Yans and successfully fused them together. The instant the embryonic medicine cauldrons merged successfully, an aura that far exceeded a 5th tier 2-star medicine pill was suddenly emitted from the medicine cauldron in front of Xiao Yan, causing Li Daoyuan and the others, who were paying full attention to the situation, to be startled. That kid Li Zan actually spat out his blood essence as well. The medicine pill has already reached the peak of grade 5 and 3 stars. Xiao Yu's medicine pill. I estimate that it can also reach grade 5 and 3 stars. As for the exact extent, it's hard to say. Xiao Yan's medicine pill also seems to have reached the level of a grade 5 and 3 stars. Li Daoyuan, who was speaking in a deep voice, was suddenly startled. Immediately, he saw Xiao Yan bite the tip of his tongue without any hesitation. A drop of golden blood essence swiftly entered the green medicine pill embryonic form within the medicine cauldron. 2 inches Kai. He bit the tip of his tongue and a drop of golden blood essence flew across the night sky like a bolt of lightning, instantly entering the embryonic medicine pill. A faint blood red mark instantly appeared on the surface of the green medicine pill. At the same time the mark appeared, a vast aura burst out from the medicine pill. This feeling. Xiao Yan's medicine pill has actually reached the peak of the 5th grade, 3 stars. Looking at the 3 people on the stage who had weak auras, Li Daoyuan raised his eyebrows. His voice actually had a trace of shock. Hua Yan swallowed a mouthful of saliva. He could not help but clench his fists and softly said, "These 3 little fellows' medicine pills have all reached the 5th grade, 3 stars. Although the aura of the Xiao Yu's Xiao Yu refined is the weakest, the final result still depends on whether the three of them can last until the end. Li Daoyuan nodded and said with a nervous expression, "The three of them are almost at the end of their ropes. What the 5th rank medicine pill needs is what the 5th rank medicine pill needs. The Origin Monarch Chi is so huge. Let's see who can persist and refine the medicine pill." Xiao Wang, who was standing at the side, had his eyes fixed on the situation on the scene. At the same time that Xiao Yan spurted out his blood essence, with his sensitive senses, he actually felt a trace of excitement, as if something in the deepest part of his blood had been affected. This kind of feeling was also felt when Xiao Yu spurted out his blood essence. However, Xiao Yu was his son, so it wasn't a big deal for him to have this kind of feeling in his blood. But this Xiao Yan actually gave him the same feeling. I can't be wrong about that feeling just now. This guy's surname is also Xiao, but there's no news from the family that anyone from the family is participating in the competition. The fighting monarch that broke through from the lower realm. Could it be? Impossible. Xiao Wang stared at the pale Xiao Yan, his pupils suddenly shrank to the size of a pinhole. He recalled what Xiao Yan said earlier and fell into deep thought. After pondering for a moment, Xiao Wang suddenly looked at Li Daoyuan and said, "Chairman Li, that guy called Xiao Yan, did he break through from the lower realm?" Li Daoyuan was stunned when he heard that. He thought for a while and shook his head. This has nothing to do with the pill competition this time. So he didn't tell me and I didn't ask. Xiao Wang nodded when he heard this. He looked at Xiao Yan once again. No one knew what he was thinking. "The chi of my medicine pill is almost the same as mine, you bastard." Sensing the chi of Xiao Yan's medicine pill, Li Zan's eyes seemed like they were about to spurt out flames. He swallowed a deep mouthful of saliva. Li Zan smiled hideously, and his hands were tightly pressed against the piston. The Origin Monarch Chi in his body was poured into the cauldron without any reservation. Under the effect of the medicine cauldron, the huge Origin Monarch Chi crazily poured into the medicine pill. In an instant, a round medicine pill was formed. Xiao Yu forcefully endured the dizziness in front of him. Naturally, he could clearly feel the aura of the medicine pill emitted from Li Zan and Xiao Yan's cauldron. The level of the pills concocted by these two men was almost the same, but they were undoubtedly stronger than his. Thinking of this, Xiao Yu roared in his heart. His eyes were red as he tightly pressed his hands against the fire infusion port. All the Origin Monarch Chis in his body surged wildly into the medicine cauldron. The aura did not represent the final result. Without enough Origin Monarch Chis to support the formation of the medicine pill, it would be useless. Although his own medicine pill could not compare to Xiao Yan's and Xiao Yan's medicine pill auras, it was still useless. It was precisely because of this that his success rate was a little higher. The weakness in his body kept stimulating Xiao Yan's nerves. The feeling of weakness spread throughout his body in an instant. Xiao Yan forced himself to stand up and shook his head to remove the dizziness. There was only half of the Origin Monarch Chi in his body. He did not know if he could last until he successfully concocted the Origin Monarch Chis. Pa! Xiao Yan placed both of his hands on the fire piston. His soul force had been locked onto the medicine pill in the cauldron. He looked at the hourglass in the middle of the field. Time was no longer allowed to repeat itself. Even if time permitted it, with Xiao Yan's current physical condition, it was impossible for him to refine another medicine pill. Taking a deep breath, the two thick and solid origin chains in his body began to emit a rustling sound. Under Xiao Yan's control, the divine chi of the origin chains rolled and flowed along the special meridians. It gathered above his hands and continuously entered the fire piston. "Who?" Li Daoyuan could not help but stand up. His eyes were fixed on 3 places in the hall. Out of the 30 people who were concocting medicine pills, only these 3 places had the most intense chi. The rest of them were basically concocting grade 4 Zhou Gushans. Even Zhou Gushan was only a grade 4 7-star medicine pill. It could not be compared with the chi that was being emitted from these 3 cauldrons. So powerful. Fu Zan, who was sitting on the grandstand, stared at the 3 people who were fighting with their lives on the line. He couldn't help but swallow his saliva. They were both competitors, but his alchemy skill was on a completely different level compared to these 3 people. Bai Qian stared at Xiao Yan with her beautiful eyes. When she saw the latter's pale face, her heart couldn't help but tighten, and her heart jumped to her throat. The others have become a contrast. Ji Yan looked at Xiao Yan and the other 2 in shock. After that, his eyes swept across the other areas of the arena, and he couldn't help but speak. All the participants who could enter the third round were geniuses, but this round of competition, the remaining people had completely lost their sense of existence. In the other areas of the grandstand, everyone's gazes were attracted by the three of them. Every single one of them was completely silent. This battle that didn't have any smoke, the more it caused one's heart to palpitate. The physical strength of the three of them has already reached the limit. What they are fighting against now is willpower. A huge amount of soul force covered the sky. Li Daoyuan clearly saw the situation of the three of them and said in a deep voice, "I never thought that these three fellows would be so outstanding. They actually managed to fight to the level of a 5th grade 3-star medicine pill. Unbelievable." Hua Yan, who was standing at the side, also stood up with a nervous look on his face. His eyes were fixed on the scene. "Oh, it's impossible for me to fail." Li Zan's face had turned green with regret. He did not expect that a 3-star tier 5th grade medicine pill would require so many Origin Monarch Chis. If he knew this would happen, he wouldn't have used his blood essence to strengthen it. Now, he was tightly sucked in by the suction force of the medicine pill, unable to escape. The Origin Monarch Chi in his body had already surged uncontrollably into the medicine pill. An endless sense of weakness had spread throughout his body. He could fall at any time. Woo! Xiao Yu's eyes were red as he gritted his teeth. As a large amount of Origin Monarch Chis were injected into the cauldron, the medicine pill in the cauldron had gradually taken shape. An even denser medicinal fragrance was emitted from the cauldron. Xiao Yu endured the dizziness in front of him. The waves of powerlessness in his body made his legs tremble continuously. He almost could not stand stably, but the medicine pill in the medicine cauldron showed no signs of stopping. Hiss! The dizziness in front of him was forcefully dispelled by Xiao Yan. This kind of pain had already been suffered many times in the lower realm. Under the current circumstances, it was extremely beneficial to Xiao Yan. Even if he was unconscious, out of instinct, Xiao Yan could still urge the Origin Monarch Chi to absorb the medicine pill to the greatest extent. The three people's medicine cauldron emitted a dense pill fragrance at almost the same time, causing the other alchemists to look over. When they saw the huge chi coming from the three people's medicine cauldron, their expressions changed. Some alchemists who were complacent because they had refined a tier 4 and 5-star medicine pill had ugly expressions on their faces. That brat from Spirit Sky City, the pill fragrance in the medicine cauldron is even richer than Xiao Yu's. Shi Shen's expression became even uglier. All 5 of his students had been eliminated. Now, seeing such a genius appearing in the Spirit Sky City that he had always looked down on, he was so jealous that he almost went crazy. This guy, so he's not bluffing. Yu Cheng sat on the grandstand and looked at Xiao Yan with a shocked expression. When he thought of what happened a few days ago, his back instantly broke out in a cold sweat. To think that he would be able to help him pass the first round of the competition. It was estimated that when he said those words, this young man named Xiao Yan had already started to despise him in his heart. The entire venue suddenly became extremely quiet. Only the intense sound of the medicine cauldron being continuously produced by Xiao Yan and the other two kept stimulating the nerves of the crowd. Puff! Right at this moment, Xiao Yu's face suddenly turned red, and he suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood. The spirit in his eyes instantly dissipated, and his body tilted to the side as he powerlessly fell down. "I'm fine. He just fainted due to exhaustion, and he's fine." Li Daoyuan felt pain in his heart when he saw Xiao Yu suddenly pass out. He let out a long breath and hurriedly stopped Xiao Wang and the others who were about to rush forward. Eldest senior brother, seeing Xiao Yu suddenly faint, Zhou Gushan and the others who had finished concocting the pill turned pale with fright. Just as they were about to support Xiao Yu, Li Daoyuan's voice rang in their ears. Puff! Just as everyone was shocked by Xiao Yu's sudden fainting, Li Zan, who was not far away, could not hold on any longer before the medicine pill was about to take shape. He spat out a mouthful of blood, and his legs went limp as he fainted. Li Daoyuan had sensed something the moment Li Zan fainted. After a moment of shock, he immediately looked at where Xiao Yan was standing. There, a young man was standing steadily. 2 inches eldest senior brother. Young master. The sudden turn of events shocked everyone. In just a short period of time, Xiao Yu and Li Zan, these 2 geniuses who had high hopes of becoming champion, had all fainted. Young master. Ho Dao cried out in shock. Just as he was about to rush into the venue, a figure flashed in front of the stands. Hua Yan was already standing in front of him. Looking at the gloomy face of Ho Dao, Hua Yan said in a deep voice, "During the competition, no disturbances are allowed to occur." Li Zan fainted just like Xiao Yu. Both of them fainted due to exhaustion. They didn't suffer any serious injuries. When Ho Dao heard this, his eyes were filled with fury. He looked at Hua Yan and gritted his teeth as he said word by word. "What happened to the young master? The chief will definitely raise your spiritual Sky City's Alchemist Association to the ground." After saying that, Ho Dao sat back down on the spot and looked at the unconscious Li Zan impatiently. Hua Yan glanced at Ho Dao but did not say anything. His eyes swept across the stands. The cold eyes of the others made some of the mercenary corps members behave. What an unexpected outcome. These three fellows have put their lives on the line to refine a grade 5 3-star medicine pill. In the end, such a thing actually happened. Li Daoyuan looked at Xiao Yu and Li Zan, who had fainted on the stage, and let out a long sigh. "What's going on?" Ji Yun looked at the sudden change in the situation and could not help but be stunned. He looked at Xiao Yan's shaky body and broke out in a cold sweat. Now it seems that Li Zan's plan has failed. I wonder if this guy will succeed. If he succeeds, he will become an unprecedented expert in the pill competition. Li Daoyuan took a deep breath, wiped the sweat off his forehead, and sat down. At this moment, everyone's eyes were focused on Xiao Yan. Phew. The weakness in his body had almost caused Xiao Yan to collapse. A wave of dizziness forcefully attacked him. The origin monarch qi in his body had already been used up, but the 3 runes profound core in his medicine cauldron still had no intention of stopping. Xiao Yan's face also began to flush red. His lips trembled, and a wisp of blood uncontrollably flowed out from the corner of his mouth. He felt as if all his internal organs were going to be sucked out. Holy level. Trial. Xuan Kai Lin. Xiao Yan's eyes were red as he gritted his teeth. Blood kept dripping from the corner of his mouth. He did not dare to blink even if his sweat dripped into his eyes. If he succeeded, this trial would be completed. If he failed, he would be like Xiao Yu, who was supported to the side by the staff. Li Zan would be unconscious. Hey, if this guy fails, won't he become the champion, Zhou Gushan? Fate is really a coincidence. Li Daoyuan looked at Xiao Yan, who was struggling in the arena, and suddenly let out a bitter laugh. Puff. Xiao Yan couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood, but his eyes were getting brighter and brighter. His palm was pressed against the fire outlet, showing no signs of loosening. This kind of pain was nothing compared to the pain he suffered from absorbing the monarch flame. It couldn't be compared to the pain of the prestige power spell tempering his soul. He had experienced extreme pain in his body and soul, so the pain now was nothing. Arg! Xiao Yan couldn't help but roar at the sky. His whole body was trembling. Even though he couldn't feel any strength in his body, his mind was still clear and his will wasn't loosening at all. This is the will of the fighting monarch of Lower Realm, right? Even I feel ashamed. With such a disposition, no wonder the ultimate saint expert took a fancy to him. Li Daoyuan could not help but praise from the bottom of his heart. Fighting monarch of Lower Realm, Xiao Wang finally stood up from the side. His eyes could not help but flicker with excitement as he looked at the young man in the arena. Swoosh! When the last grain of sand in the hourglass fell, the medicine cauldron in front of Xiao Yan suddenly buzzed. Immediately after, a rich medicinal fragrance instantly spread out. A dark green longan-sized medicine pill jumped out from the medicine cauldron and started spinning rapidly. Success! Ji Yun looked at the dark green medicine pill in front of Xiao Yan and could not help but cry with excitement. Usually, he could easily refine a 5th-rank medicine pill, but now, it seemed to be so exciting. This feeling. It's not bad to have a peak 5th grade 3-star medicine pill. Good boy, you have really refined it. Li Daoyuan looked at the spinning dark green medicine pill and could not help but suck in a breath of air as he repeatedly praised. Refining. It has come out. When the tens of thousands of people on the grandstand saw this scene, their voices exploded with a loud bang. The overwhelming applause resounded across the sky. Fu Zan jumped up in excitement. Bai Qian held her chest and her beautiful eyes lit up. Just now, Xiao Yan's painful roar made her almost shed tears. In the mercenary corps of Spirit Sky, Ho Dao and another middle-aged man, Hong Zan, looked at each other. They could see the helplessness and hatred in each other's eyes. Hey, Xiao Yan held onto the medicine cauldron and looked at the medicine pill hovering above it. He opened his mouth but found that he did not have the strength to do anything. Ignoring the blood on his face, Xiao Yan's soul force moved. The medicine pill had already arrived in front of him, and looked at the 3-line profound spirit pill that was emitting a medicinal fragrance. Xiao Yan grinned and his legs went soft. Unable to hold on any longer, he immediately sat down on the ground. "Quick, put away their medicine pills." Seeing this, Li Daoyuan commanded in an orderly manner. Immediately, dozens of staff members rushed into the arena from the side of the square. They took out jade bottles and put away their medicine pills according to the jade bottles. Swish! The staff had just left the arena when Xiao Wang's body flashed and appeared beside Xiao Yu. Seeing that he was still unconscious, Xiao Wang smiled slightly. He bent down and said in a low voice, "You have done very well. Father is very satisfied." As he spoke, he lovingly combed Xiao Yu's messy hair. Then, he got up and walked in front of Xiao Yan. He looked at this young man with a face full of fatigue. Xiao Wang suddenly smiled and squatted down to look into Xiao Yan's eyes. His voice was fiery hot as he said, "Did you break through from the fighting Qi continent? You too, get the hell out here." At this moment, an ear-splitting shout came from the Alchemist Guild in the distance. Immediately after, a terrifying soul pressure that caused everyone's expression to change like an enormous axe rushed out of the Alchemist Guild. Like a shooting star, it streaked across the sky and struck a certain spot in the sky above the square. Hearing this sudden shout, Li Daoyuan instantly reacted. His body moved and rushed towards Xiao Yu. At the same time, his angry shout rang in everyone's ears, "Protect the alchemists in the square and hide in the hall behind us. All elders, protect the safety of everyone on the scene." As soon as his voice faded, dozens of people rushed out from the stands and rushed into the sky. The leader of the group was Hua Yan. He was looking at the place where the soul force had struck. What? When they heard the mysterious shout and Li Daoyuan's angry shout, everyone was stunned. After which, most of the leaders reacted. Their expressions changed drastically. They immediately led the disciples and ran towards the hall behind the arena. "What's going on? What's going on?" Xiao Yan was startled. He immediately recalled what Bai Qian and Li Daoyuan had told him. His facial expression changed. Although he didn't understand what was going on, he was afraid that it was beyond anyone's imagination to see Li Daoyuan so nervous. Son of Btth2. He really came. Xiao Wang's facial expression changed slightly. Without saying anything, he pulled Xiao Yan up from the ground. In a flash, he grabbed Xiao Yu with his other hand and looked at the sky with a gloomy expression. Swoosh! After throwing Xiao Yu to Xiao Wang, Li Daoyuan appeared beside Hua Yan in the sky. He looked at the front with a gloomy expression. At the same time, a white-haired old man dressed in a simple gray robe slowly appeared beside the two of them. Zhou Ju protected Zhou Gushan and the rest behind him. He looked at a certain spot in the sky and his lips trembled. Finally, he spoke in a somewhat bitter manner, "These fellows have really come. Kiki, Gui Diao, your concealment technique is also ordinary. You actually let them discover you so quickly." Along with an ear-piercing laughter, the space in front of Li Daoyuan and the others suddenly trembled. Immediately after that, a young man in a blood-red robe and a black-robed old man slowly appeared.